What reasons made you pick Berea, Kentucky in your book, and why are you still living in LA and not Berea? And if people were sure that Berea was the best place to write out 2012, why wouldn't they just up and go?
Berea, Kentucky, I went to Berea, Kentucky because I'd met some people in New York City, where I'm from, who absolutely loved the place and who convinced me in an evening's discussion that what the students learned there was superior to, in many ways, to the Ivy League heritage that I'd come to revere and I'm a product of. Basically, they learned how to work with their hands as well as their heads and their hearts. And I spent 4 years at Brown University, which I adored, which is my cherished alma mater forever. But I didn't learn one thing how to do with my hands more. When I graduated, I didn't know one more thing how to work with my hands than when I entered that school. And so it was it was forcing a realization on me. And I also just plain flat out admired the fact that in order to get into Berea, pretty much you had to be under a certain income level. And it catered to a population that did not have the advantages that many of my colleagues, my fellow students had at Brown or other, prestigious universities. Quite the opposite. Like, if you made too much, you couldn't get in. Pretty much the case. I loved that. I also like the fact that they didn't take any state funding. It was an inspiring college. And then I went there and I saw the beautiful work they had, and they were running a net trade surplus with Japan, which at the time was astonishing because they were exporting lots of stuff to Japan, and nobody was, and in the United States we were mostly importing stuff from Japan. So I got to know it, and then that favorable impression was cemented by a trip to Cumberland Falls, Kentucky, where I saw the moonbow, which is a rainbow by the light of the full moon. And I don't mean to sound corny, but you ask a question, you get an answer. Seeing the moonbow, which was dancing on the edge of existence and non-existence, which was faint, which was also mesmerizing, it felt supernatural. It felt like, God forbid, but God sent me there. It was a reward, it was a treat, it was a pleasure. And so, between Berea and the moonbow, boy, I don't sound like a science writer right now, do I? But it moved me in a way that I've never been able to shake, nor have I tried particularly. Why am I living in Los Angeles and not in Berea, Kentucky? I suppose part of it is lack of guts. I came of age during the Vietnam War, and I opposed the Vietnam War. And had I been drafted, I would have gone to war because I wouldn't have had the courage to run away to Canada. Some people thought that those guys who ran away to Canada lacked courage. I thought it took a lot of self-assuredness and aplomb to do that move. I would have allowed myself to be processed and prayed, that my ass didn't get blown up. That's part of it. I mean, the predictable thing to do. I mean, I'm from New York. I live in LA. Wow, what a unique story that isn't. Also, more seriously, my children live here, and I'm divorced, and so I cannot go running off to. I can't take kids with me, and I'm certainly not going to go anywhere where they're not living. So kids determine a lot, and as it should be. I think your choice of moving to Berea is courageous and smart, and probably will help form you in ways that not staying on the sophisticated West Coast all of the time, would really help. I am jealous. Except I don't think the spoon bread at the tavern is that great.
I kind of like it a lot.